How was your experience meeting our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, at Bharat Tex 2024?
I was privileged to hand over the jersey which he wore proudly when he had one-on-one interaction with Bill Gates.
ये जो जैकेट है ये रिसाइकल मटेरियल का है.
If you could automate one part of your day, what would it be? What's one initiative at Dohdia Group that you're most proud of?
Plastic recycling. I still remember 2015 where two generations, my uncle, all my cousins, ourselves toured the whole Europe for 9 days and visited companies who are involved in plastic recycling. Today, proudly, we have the most advanced plastic recycling facility in the world.
We have heard in certain interviews that Shri Piyush Goyal ji mentions you as a younger brother. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I feel privileged, honored.
If these small businesses don't innovate and don't catch up with the trends, there will be a lot of bigger players who will just engulf them. How do you guys try to maintain the carbon footprint that you create as a company?
When we crossed 600 crores top line, we felt that it's now when you start losing or getting the leaks in your system.
Right.
Then that's when we decided to upgrade our IT infrastructure.
And how does a business owner get time? That can be done only by two things. One is hiring the right people,
Absolutely.
and second is building the right systems. Welcome back to Atomic Processes. In today's episode, we have called somebody who had a very special opportunity of gifting a Modi jacket to none other than our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi. Modi ji then wore that jacket and met Mr. Bill Gates and demonstrated that that jacket that he's wearing is built using recycled plastic. Mr. Bhadresh is a director at Dohdia Group. He's also the youngest elected chairman at SRTEPC. He is also a co-chairman at India's leading textile event, Bharat Tex. Mr. Bhadresh and his family are strong believers of traveling the world to gain exposure. Before launching their plastic recycling unit, they went across Europe, met a lot of different plastic manufacturers or plastic recyclers, got their knowledge and brought it back to India to launch their plant. And that is one of the reasons of scaling this plant to the scale that it is at today. This particular interest in traveling goes hand in hand with my personal interest of traveling as well. He's strongly backed by Shri Piyush Goyal ji as well, who lovingly calls Mr. Bhadresh as his younger brother. If you want to learn more about how Dohdia Group reached such great heights by building a really strong team such that they could delegate the work and do a lot more things in their own time, then figure out how humility plays a really important role in building strong relationships with customers and team members. And finally, which processes are to be automated and how to prioritize the right process at the right time to ensure that you're doing, as a company, you're doing the right things. Watch this podcast. This is the second episode of Atomic Processes, and we have a lineup of power-packed individuals who have scaled up their companies and built very strong processes in their business. I'm sure this particular topic is very interesting to a lot of entrepreneurs out there. And if you are one of the top 1% entrepreneurs and want to support our initiative, please hit the subscribe button so that we can bring a lot more strong power-packed guests and do great conversations with them around Atomic Processes. We start with a rapid fire.
Should, please.
How would you describe Dohdia Group's influence on the textile industry in one word?
Relationship through innovation.
If you could automate one part of your day, what would it be?
Handle my non-transactional day-to-day task.
Things that don't need your creative input.
Yeah, non-transaction.
Perfect. What's one initiative at Dohdia Group that you're most proud of?
Plastic recycling.
How was your experience meeting our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, at Bharat Tex 2024?
That moment, I felt it came and gone in a flash, but to get the build up to that moment was very special. Then I was called by PMO, they scrutinize your background, they tell you what to do, what not to do, and they built up such a hype that when he's coming, you have to be looking in this, that, you have to walk that. So it took me 3 hours to prep for that 30 seconds meeting. But then when I was there with him for 30 seconds, I was privileged to hand over the jersey which he wore proudly when he had one-on-one interaction with Bill Gates.
Wow.
And if you see it today, go back to that interview with him and Bill Gates, he mentioned that this jersey is made out of waste of plastic. So that was a moment he was very curious to know about the jersey. Then his question was, are we the only one in the world to do this? I had to be little frank that no, we are not, but we are amongst the largest one to do it.
Wow, excellent.
So
And
that
I
was-
think
that
Dohdia
was-
Group has a big role to play in that.
Yes,
What's one system or process at Dohdia Group that is crucial to its success?
innovation.
What's one piece of advice that you would give a next generation business owner, such as myself, in your entire experience so far?
It's very crucial to get involved in transactional business, but it's very crucial to leave back those transactional day-to-day activity and make yourself available for future growth.
We have heard in certain interviews that Shri Piyush Goyal ji mentions you as a younger brother. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I feel privileged, honored. It's really a special bond we share. I have been very lucky to work with him so closely. When I was elected as a chairman, youngest chairman in the history of Export Promotion Council, I was given an opportunity to introduce our council to him because he had just then elected as a textile minister. So I hit him off with the first meeting at a go, because usually people take as much time as they can to showcase their council work, and I wind up my presentation in 4 minutes. And he said, Bhadresh, you're my kind of guy. You said everything in 4 minutes what others could not say in 45 minutes.
That's a great skill to have. I think I would probably look up to that and learn something from there. We want to talk about certain challenges that textile as an industry overall faces.
Yeah.
First is, we have seen a lot of business owners in the textile space talk about this very often, that labor is a big issue. How does Dohdia Group solve for consistent labor?
It is an issue to be. If I answer that we are successful in managing, I would be wrong. Today, labor is an issue, but of course the only solution, probable solution, is to plug in more and more technology and automation into your process. With the new day passing by, there will be scarcity of low-end workers. So only point of view today which we are making is investing into the automation more and more.
Great, got it. So basically, you are removing the dependency on labor as much as possible. Great. Second, as an industry, you face a lot of issues with energy, because the amount of energy it requires to build a manufacturing plant like yours takes effort. So how do you solve for those challenges?
Today, textile industry is caught in two worlds. What are these two worlds? There is one practices, age-old practices, which keeps on happening, like consuming water and discharging water, which has always resulted to the pollution what we see around us. However, the new technologies which are there in the market today, you recycle your own used water and use it back into the process, and you continue to do so. Now, this requires a lot of capital investment into the business, which makes it little difficult to sustain a low-end product and compete with the unorganized textile industry. Saying so, today the government is very keen on getting it right and putting all these industries into the right model. So in the near future, we are surely to have a good practices available.
Great, excellent. And finally, one more problem that we have noticed is carbon footprint overall. So I know that you guys are recycling a lot of things, but how do you guys try to maintain the carbon footprint that you create as a company as well?
It's simple, by going that we are already 30% solar dependent today, which we will be scaling up to 80% in near future.
I believe when you joined Dohdia Group, it was more of a textiles company.
Yes.
Since then, I'm sure there are a couple of more verticals that have come up. Tell us more about those.
So, see, Dohdia Group is all about family teamwork. It is never individual story. Even when I say I, it is always representing the whole
group.
family, the group. So we ventured into chemicals. We have Jinesh Dohdia, my younger brother, who had graduated from US and learned about chemical business. There was an opportunity to initiate the manufacturing of water treatment chemicals. That's when Pradeep Dohdia and Jinesh, they started exploring the business, and we Dohdia family are amazing risk takers.
Yes.
And there is a saying by Tata, which we have always followed, that make decisions and make it right later. Don't take the right decision and don't think about right decisions. Take a decision and make it right. So that's always have been fundamental.
Great. So I think in this journey as well, when you're talking about decisions, you must have taken a lot of hits, out of which some of them hit well. Is that the case, or all the hits you took worked well?
Most of them were right. Few of them were wrong, but that wrong were quite significant. And it was a great learning.
Great. Okay. And I think one major vertical that was recently established was the plastic recycling.
Correct.
You were probably one of the pioneers in the country to do something like that. A lot of people still don't understand how plastics can be converted into yarn. Can you tell us more about that?
Okay, I'll tell you how it started first.
Sure.
See, I contribute my personality as a learned traveler. I travel extensively. I meet many different society people, different business world. So along with this journey, I learned from a very big brand owner, CEO, speaking about the plastic recycling in 2013. And it caught my attention. Then I shared my ideas, I shared others' view on this, and that's when our family said, why not we explore? So from 2014, we as a Dohdia family took a great interest and we traveled the world. I still remember 2015, where two generations, my uncle, all my cousins, ourselves, toured the whole Europe for 9 days and visited every corner of European companies who are involved in plastic recycling.
Wow.
So that's the interest we developed, and then research what we did. And plastic recycling has evolved a lot in recent years, but back then when we started was a very crude method where the bottles are unorganizedly collected, and then you need to process those bottles. That processing is again manual, so in last 5 years it has evolved greatly, and today proudly we have the most advanced plastic recycling facility in the world.
Great. And what I understand from this is you started with a very simple, first you did a lot of research, then you started with a simple way of doing it.
Yes.
Even if it was manual, frugal, however,
Absolutely.
you started it, and then you kept evolving to reach a world-class standard today. It wasn't world-class from day one.
No.
And how did that approach come to your mind? Because if you're doing such a big investment or such a big initiative, why not start with world-class levels from day one? Like, what is the thought process behind it?
Well, we were first to do so. The world was not ready when we decided to dive into a very specialized plastic product. There was a plastic recycling in the world happening, but that was at the lowest level of pyramid, the low inferior product, which does not demand the quality. So we decided to notch it up. And the best part is we did not start from the academic background. So we never followed the books. We always challenged the concept and which existed. So we just started with one vision that, we want this. How do we achieve? Then we start ticking the box.
So broke it down into
Yes,
smaller steps and start one step at a time with a bigger focus in mind.
With a focus.
And what I very well understood was, even if you took a big risk, you had done a lot of homework.
Yeah.
Spending 9 days with the entire family in Europe to go through every plastic manufacturer or recycler is a lot of grit and effort that you have taken before starting something. So that is excellent. Tell us more about what does plastic recycling mean? I'm using a plastic bottle.
Right.
Now, when I throw it off, from there, I'm throwing it on a railway station, for example, in the dustbin. From there, where does it go, and what happens, and where does it? I believe it's also a part of my shoes or a part of my clothes sometimes. So how does that journey happen?
So plastic recycling today, we are proudly the world's biggest recyclers in the world. When I say biggest recycler, 90 to 95% of our plastic consumed in our own country are converted back into the system.
Hmm.
Today, when you take a water and when you put it on the dustbin, I urge you now to follow the next step. Within 10 minutes, those bottles will be picked up by the rack pickers, and those rack pickers have a jola, we call it.
Yeah.
They collect the bottles, then those collected bottles goes to kabadi wala, raddi wala or kabadi wala. They bail the whole collection because the bottles are light in model. So they have a very simple machine which crush, brush and pack it, and those bales comes to our factory. Now the plastic bottles are dirty. The plastics are not the same polymer what is to be recycled. You have labels which is different polymers.
Yeah, it's a
you
mixture.
have caps. So we have automated process where the bottle goes through the washing, crushing, sorting. Now washing, we all know, we remove the dirt. Then crushing, we convert the bottles into the small flakes, and then those flakes are washed again to be absolutely as good as virgin. And then we have a sorting process where we remove automatically, the machine removes all the unwanted non-PET products and the colored bottles, because we recycle only the clear bottles. You must be having Sprite, 7-Up. So those bottles are treated separately. Once that flakes are been done, then it finds its own way into the upcycle. Now today the flakes are used into textiles, which is used to make fabrics, clothes, shoes, curtains, carpets, you name it, it is used. The new innovations and the new investment which our company has just done is to convert back into the pallets, and those pallets are converted back into the bottles.
Wow.
So we are again the new future of plastic recycling will be, currently the world is on the linear recycling model where the bottle converts into the textiles and textile goes to the landfill. Eventually it is not coming back.
It cannot come back to the loop.
So with this new technology, the bottles is into the closed loop recycling, where your thrown bottle will be again converted back into the bottles.
Excellent. Which becomes a sustainable way of using.
That's the ideal sustainable way of.
Excellent. Now, in this entire process and entire supply chain that you mentioned, I'm sure it's extremely important to track and collect data.
Yeah.
How do you guys manage that in your factories?
So this data are predominantly market research data, and also there are two sets of data which we need to follow. One is of course the market data, which will give you an input on where the bottles has been collected, which is the area where needs a recycling hub or anything. Then you have also your own production data.
Correct.
So we have extensive SAP model,
Okay.
which deals with the data. It's as you know, our inputs are never standards.
Right.
It's varying the whole concept. So we again have invested time and resources in developing a custom SAP module,
Okay.
which reads the data, which predicts the data, and then gives us the report which then we can use it in the process control for the future.
Great. And I believe a lot of these things are done by blue-collared workers in your company.
Yeah.
So how do they capture the data on the SAP module? Is it like a mobile-based solution which is created, or what bridges the gap between that?
It's a cloud-based, desktop-based. Nothing is mobile, and we don't wish to be on mobile because of the data security, as well as we don't want a casual approach to our data.
Got it. Okay.
So it is always a desk-based, cloud-based.
Excellent.
Yeah, talking about me being the business traveler, I also happen to be one of the greatest follower on your LinkedIn, and I came across your experience of 3-month business travel or 4-month.
Yeah.
So how did it come to your mind, and what made you decide that?
So for me, I have always studied and grown up in Mumbai itself. All my education has been in my comfort zone,
Okay.
inside my house. That was one. And second was, as my business is very technologically friendly and it's across borders. So I wanted to understand how business owners are thinking in a different scenario, in a different location as well. So that's where it came to me that because I want to go outside on the personal front and on the professional front, just doing something really big with like a marketing initiative as well, and also like just understanding what people think abroad in different various locations. That's why I decided.
Follow up for this. What did you find? How different are they from
Yeah.
Indian?
Very different. They are quite different. The way businesses are run is quite different,
Yeah.
but people on its core are the same. So the way people think in India or abroad, in humans in general, they behave in a very similar manner. They have similar requirements, similar needs and wants. But how businesses are run abroad is very different because they are a lot more system centric. They are a lot more organized because they don't have the strength of labor that we have in India. So with that being said, they would spend a lot of time and focus on creating really strong structures and strong systems internally first before they take any big risk.
So does that mean, which I always debate within myself, that having a cheap labor always lead to sometime the deterioration into the workforce, manpower, and having something which is very expensive, you want to use it wisely. Is that the strength what they have?
I would say having cheap labor definitely helps in doing executional work.
Yeah.
But whenever you're doing any kind of vision setting, it's the cheap labor tends to make us do things in the wrong way. So we decide in the wrong way sometimes. I would say a balance of both is excellent. So India is actually moving in that direction now.
Yeah.
That
Totally
our
agree.
labor is getting skilled, so the cheap labor is also getting much more stronger,
Yeah.
and at the same time,
Aspirational.
our technology. I wouldn't say this 5 years back, but currently our technology is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because the things that we have done with UPI, the things that we have done with your convenience apps that you see on the phone, which means everybody is very used to technology. So the way India is promoting technology, if that is infused inside businesses, and that cheap labor is upskilled a little more, and they use this together, we are sitting on something which is phenomenal.
Just a last question on this from my side. The way you are saying UPI and everything, there is one fraction of Indian society which has excelled, like UPI and all those. Then there is also a traditional brick and mortar businesses,
Yeah.
which has not so far excelled in technology
Yes.
and still follows the age-old traditions of doing way of business. You think that's an opportunity for your business to?
That is exactly the opportunity that we are catering to.
Right.
Because we have realized that if these small businesses don't innovate and don't catch up with the trends, there will be a lot of bigger players who will just engulf them.
Right.
Because just a simple example, your Blinkit now, the convenience that it offers will just take over all the small kirana stores that are there available around you.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, if the kirana store next to you starts offering something over WhatsApp, any consumer will focus that I want to give him business.
Right.
Or just because you have a relationship which you don't have with Blinkit, if they skill up and they do business in a better way, you will want to do it with them.
Yeah.
So in order to bring people on the equal standards, small brick and mortar businesses will have to step up. So definitely that is a big opportunity. That is what we are trying to solve for. And that's also what we are trying to show business owners, that if you want to become independent and do a lot more things which you mentioned, that build relationships, go out, explore, it needs time. And how does a business owner get time? They do it only when they get out of the day-to-day.
Yeah.
And that can be done only by two things. One is hiring the right people,
Absolutely.
and second is building the right systems. When we understood that, in your case, can you tell us a little bit more about the technology systems or the way Dohdia Group runs their operations?
Sure. See, our growth has never been envisioned in a bigger way. We kept on believing on developing the new products, and our growth was always fueled by selling first, installing later. Uh, so the byproduct of this was there was a lot of disorganized expansion into our businesses. We ended up having today 12 to 13 different factories. Uh, it was all focused on fulfilling the need of the customer, delivering them the right product at the right time. But the always neglected point was the technology and the accounting. That's when we crossed 600 crores top line. We felt that it's now when you start losing or getting the leaks in your system.
Right.
Then it's getting too big to handle. That's when we decided to upgrade our IT infrastructure. We had several different options. Luckily for us, our strength is always the family members.
Correct.
We had Suchit Dohdia, who was my first cousin, joining business, and he was getting trained for Kaizen world-class manufacturing to get the hands-on on the processes and improve the processes. Along with that, he dedicated himself to develop the IT software.
Wow.
Then, of course, it led to many again visiting our own peer circle who have done it better, understanding from them, meeting their vendors, meeting different spectrum of vendor size. We met big fours, we met the local integrated, then we made a model of amalgamation of local guy and PwC sitting on our board leading the whole
Technology.
transformation.
Yeah. You mentioned about Kaizen. So Kaizen is a way of doing continuous improvement.
Yes.
And it talks about focusing on the most important problem first and then keep improving from there.
Right.
I think even before learning Kaizen, Dohdia Group has incorporated Kaizen from the beginning. From all the things
That's with our Indian story. We have never marketed our culture the way Europeans or US have done it.
Yeah.
I mean, we are doing a lot of right things subconsciously, and we are not bringing it to the forefront and marketing it.
Great. No, I think that's a great insight. And what I realize is having the strength of people and having the strength of visionary people on board overall really helps in figuring out what needs to be automated.
Yeah.
Also, one big takeaway that I take from you guys is you focus on the biggest problem first.
Absolutely.
So you focus on selling first. Then once you have sold it and once you have scaled up, you realize that we have reached a point where we can't scale up anymore if we don't set up systems.
Yeah.
And then you move into setting up the right systems. So you're investing also very smartly. Great. Can you tell us more about what Mr. Bhadresh Dodhia is?
Oh, what am I? I am currently an entrepreneur managing various businesses of Dohdia Group, be it textile, chemicals, and plastic recycling. Also, I've been honored to head various government agencies at this age of life. Today, I am chairman of Export Promotion Council for Man-Made Textile and Technical Textile. I am the youngest there. I am also a co-chair of Bharat Tex, which is the world's largest integrated textile show in the world.
Wow.
So I feel really honored, privileged, and background of mine, I am just a BBA student, average Joey, did my education in India, stayed in abroad, worked while studying. I worked as a loader in Marks and Smith, M&S, and W.H. Smith also. As a night shift, I had this thing in me to earn the money and enjoy with that money. So that was the thing kept me going when I was working. But I learned a great deal when I was working on the shop floor. Then I was promoted to the cashier. That was my promotion lasted with 6 months, and then I I graduated, I came back to business. I started learning new areas of business activity
So,
eventually.
Dohdia Group itself is a family company, if I
Correct.
understand correctly. And you joined as the second generation.
I am the second generation.
And what was the time when you joined Dohdia Group? Like, was it right after education, or
Yeah. It was right after my UK education in 2007. That's when I joined my
so
family business.
from 2007 to 2024, which is probably 14 years, 17 years, in which you have achieved so many things. So tell us more about first Dohdia Group, and then what did you do once you joined Dohdia Group?
So Dohdia Group, when I joined, was involved in a textile business predominantly, and we had a top line of about 75 CR when I joined, and we had extensive market for domestic. And that's when my uncle Pradeep Dohdia said that, hey Bhadresh, we have to look at export market for our products. So that's when I started, with the help of my family members, Pradeep Dodhia, Ritesh Dodhia, my brother, started venturing out and started visiting various countries to explore the opportunities in export market. I have amazing backing from my first generation, dad, uncle, Pradeep Dodhia. They always encouraged me to do and learn new things. There was never a pressure or a cautiousness from them that, hey, watch what you're doing. That kept me going. And I made along the way a lot of mistakes, but those mistakes are my best foundations of business years today. And I still remember my first deal, we made a loss of about $100,000 or so. And I went to my dad and said, Dad, we should not honor it. Let's vanish. And he said, consider this as your university fees. And after 17 years, that buyer is my best buyer today.
Wow. So that is core fundamental ethics
Yes.
that take you such a long way. Excellent. You being a part of multiple different committees or multiple different councils where you are a chairman, co-chairman, etc. Firstly, when did you decide that it's time that as a business owner, I need to explore these things as well?
Let me tell you very clearly. I mean, all non-business society or business work, you cannot choose it as your career. You cannot plan your career.
Yeah.
All you got to do is have the right intention and be at the right time. Be everywhere where you can learn yourself rather than make your presence felt. So it was my nature, which was like I was there for most of the meetings. I was contributing in a very honest way. I was contributing to the society. My desire was to do something for the business thing. So that was always some or the other time you will be picked up and seen your efforts. And when your intentions are correct and the honesty is there, people wish to be, associate with you. So I just happen to be most of the places trying to contribute.
Great. And doing those things requires a lot of time, correct?
Yeah.
So, as a business owner, most people face this issue that they don't have time to take out of their business. How did you do that? How did you manage that for yourself?
So as I said in the start of your rapid fire, I always have a thing that I will never get involved into the transaction business. I will learn the transaction. So as and when I started developing the business models, I started recruiting the people. I put a lot of trust on my people, lot of trust. And I encourage them to make innocent mistakes, not the deliberate mistakes. And they are always comforted to take decisions by themselves.
Okay.
And my instructions are very simple, that if you come to me for the solution, then you are not good for me. It is your own baby. So I encourage them to take their own decisions. So as and when I keep walking along different path of different models, I ensure that I place some right candidates there to proceed
Those are the people who are leading the system.
the leading.
Is there a way where you are tracking them, or you are seeing some kind of KPI metrics, etc. for them? Or
I have a very crude method. I do have offline talks, and then I have fantastic habit of connecting to their stakeholders and get the feedback of them.
great.
And they all are aware that I am very well connected,
Yeah.
and I get the first-hand information. Still today, though I don't now anymore look after the yarn export side of it, customers at least twice a week I would connect with them and say hello.
Wow. So basically, you are hands-on with the customer sides and with the business heads,
Yeah.
but otherwise you are hands-off because you have placed a lot of trust in
Trust.
people.
That-
Excellent. Let's segue into the next part where I want to understand more about Bharat Tex overall.
Okay.
So I was going through your LinkedIn and I saw a video of Shri Piyush Goyal ji mentioning that Bharat Tex was the event, the 2024 event was one of the best events he has attended himself. I know it's on a mega scale. There are lots of people who come to that event, and also you were the co-chairman of that. You achieved something about that event, which was supposed to be done in 2 years. You achieved it in 4 months. Correct me if I'm wrong, but how did you go about it?
So it all started with the vision. I was sold by our Honorable Minister Shri Piyush Goyal ji's vision. There was one meeting on 19th of June where he announced that he called all the associations and all the export promotion councils. He said, you guys, I have enough of you guys working in silos and doing your own bit of things. I want to do something which is in brand India, the biggest, the better India. And I don't want government to do this. I want industry to lead this. So I want two names from you, all of you, to lead this delegation. So little I know about the event, out of my excitement to deliver something to the society, I said, sir, I would like to do so. He said, Bhadresh, are you ready to live your business and family for next 4 months? Because I want to do it in next 4 months. I said, why not? Now that's the advantage of not coming from the academics or the way things were done. I said, karna hai, sir,
Let's do it.
ho jayega. Without thinking much on this. Then the chairman was elected. After 1 week, I had to report to him on how we wish to do it, and I was told, impossible task. Bhadresh, don't do it. Don't spoil your name. It's a mega event. It's a budget of 130 crores and all those. So I went to me with all our team, core team, went to again Minister sir. We said, sir, we need time. We need 2 years. He said, I don't have time. And what do you want from me? Make all possible mistakes, but make it happen. So again, out of excitement, we said, sir, kar dalte hain. We'll see what will happen. Then again, dedication, honesty, sincerity. I devoted my extreme time with this. Again, met the right people, met the connection, gave them the responsibility, created a structure, and then there was support from the ministry, especially from Piyush Goyal ji. Then with the determination and courage, everything fall in place. We not only did the Bharat Tex, which is only about, which is not just about exhibition, but we ended up doing over 60 knowledge session, 3 CXO roundtable, which was chaired by our Prime Minister, everything, and then inaugural session, which was again done by our Honorable Prime Minister and attended by over 99,000 in a single hall. So, the learning phase of those 4 months was incredible in my life. This is something which not related to business. I was learning about how to mobilize people, how to arrange the exhibition, how to award the tenders, how to award the food. It was something which I will cherish my life.
Fantastic.
Forever.
Okay, in our podcast, we keep one section where we understand some business challenges that you face, and with our experience of modernizing processes, we try to solve that. So let's take Bharat Tex as an example. Was there any challenge that you faced that you think technology could solve? Any challenge?
Oh, plenty. To
Let's
be
take one
honest,
example.
for one example, very simple was our visitor management.
Excellent. So visitors probably registering and then attending. Let's talk about that. How in your current case, would visitors register?
Its current case is online registration.
Right.
What was more important for us, because the event was such a mega event and never happened before, where you have the complete value chain of the textiles present. So visitors were registering, entering, that's easy part.
Right.
But to guide the right traffic to the right area
Right.
was the automation which we missed and which we needed to plug immediately,
Because-
because people were getting lost.
Because so many people are coming to such a big event which has so many different things.
Yes.
So probably, if I understand this correctly, this could have been solved by some kind of a recommendation engine,
Yes.
which could be run by an
AI
AI bot
AI
of sorts, where when a user registers, we ask them certain right questions.
Absolutely.
With that questions, we figure out what are they right fit for.
Yeah.
And on the other side, which is like a marketplace logic, on the other side, there are things to do in the event, things to do at the exhibition that will be a right fit for them.
Yeah.
So as soon as they register themselves, which is like a standard registration with a few more questions, before coming to the event itself, if we could send these things on WhatsApp
Yeah.
and tell them that these are the top things that you should be doing,
Totally agree.
and maybe create a bot where they respond to that and they ask what next, and there is an AI assistant supporting them to go through the exhibition. Would that help?
Amazingly help. I mean, not just that, having something which is online available, chatbot, guide them. All this are a big miss which we could not do, and we wished we could have done it,
Great.
and it would have helped the event scale much more.
Excellent. So that would be one small ask that I have from you,
Sure.
which probably on the next Bharat Tex event, we can come in and build some kind of simple process.
Sure, I would like to welcome
Which could-
you and present yourself to our committee.
Excellent, excellent. That's what we as a company believe in. We figure out what is the problem statement first.
Yeah.
Then we break it down into smaller chunks of processes, and we call it atomic processes. That's the name of the podcast. Once an atomic process is figured out, we identify what is the input, what is the potential ideal output we need, fill in the blanks with the best technology possible.
Absolutely.
Once one process is automated, then we move to the next process
Magic.
and the next. And that's how we do process.
I'm sure that's how it's supposed to be done.
Yes,
That's
great. And I think if you achieved something in what was supposed to be done in 2 years into 4 months, with some more technology support, maybe that 4 months
It would
can
have
come
been
down to 2 months. Great. Is there anything else you would like to share with us about your journey and about your success story?
Just keep traveling, keep exploring, and try to take a calculated risk. If you end up doing every day the same stuff, there is no growth.
Great. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining us.
Lovely,
and-
Manan. Wish you
Yeah.
all the best. Thank you.